Hi, everybody, and welcome to this public art project info session. This is a webinar, so if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A function because I'm not able to see participants for this. But today we're going to be diving into the Boise Depot Centennial projection opportunity. And before we get into the project specifics, I have a few housekeeping items. First, I want to note that this session is being recorded and it will be available online, and that English language transcriptions are also available by clicking the live transcript button at the bottom of the screen and then selecting Show Subtitle. Subtitles can also be viewed in the recording. I'd also like to acknowledge the history of the land that both Boise City Hall, where I am, and the Boise Depot, where the project will be located, sits on. We recognize the ancestral, cultural, traditional, and unceded territory of the Shoshone, Bannock, and Northern Paiute people, whose land we sit on today. And for the project, I am Liana Hamby. I'm a public art project coordinator, and if you have any questions, again, please submit them in the Q&A feature whenever they come to you. There will be time to answer questions at the end, and I'm also available by phone or email. My contact information is at the end of the slideshow. And on the agenda today is a project overview. We're going to go over the selection panel and process. We're going to go over the application materials and criteria, and then there will be a few suggestions and time for questions. So some project background. The Boise Depot is turning 100 years old on April 16th, 2025, and the city of Boise plans to host a variety of public events leading up to the centennial, as well as a centennial celebration event at the depot, going from April 13th through April 16th. And we are inviting artists and artist teams to apply for the opportunity to create digital projection art for display during the celebration event. Please note that the projection will actually be on the back of the depot, not the tower like it's pictured. The artist award is $10,000, and the selected artist is expected to collaborate with staff and a projection consultant on artwork design that should include daily variation, and they'll work with staff on a community engagement opportunity. This opportunity is limited to current Idaho residents who are 18 years and older, and we are hoping that the selected artist will be available for both the community engagement opportunity as well as all or a portion of the centennial event. We've got the timeline up here. Please note that a lot of these dates are tentative and generally pretty flexible, with the exception of the application deadline, which is August 7th at 1 o'clock, the community engagement date, which is September 22nd, and the event dates, which are April 13th through 16th. Those are not flexible. The community engagement date is actually tied to Goat Head Fest, which will be held on Latah Street on the 22nd of September. We're still in the very early stages of planning this, so we're hoping to build the experience with an artist who's eager and innovative in their desired approach to engage with community members at this event. And we intend for this experience to then inform the artist's design. Before we get into the specifics of the application, I want to start with the application audience. So we're going to start with the selection panel and process. So a huge part of what makes public art is the public process. And so selection is determined by a selection panel made up of community and project stakeholders, not city staff. This group consists of artists, a history student, an art nonprofit representative, a Boise Bicycle Project staff member, a member of the Arts and History Commission, and a local projection professional. These panelists will all score applications using the same set of criteria with preset descriptors tied to point values. We'll go over all of these, but the criteria is all included in the call. And after panelists score applications, we convene to discuss top scored applications and come to a consensus on an artist to award. Again, although staff is present to facilitate discussion, we don't score and we do not ultimately determine the selected artist. All right, application and criteria is up next. We use the application platform Submittable, which is pretty user-friendly and it's free. The application is going to ask you first questions about your eligibility, which includes your availability for both the community engagement opportunity and the event. There are initial application questions, which are mostly contact information. There is a statement of interest, which is your argument or pitch for why you are personally a good fit for this project. We ask for a concept description, which describes what you'd like to do at the site, and all of the questions included below should be answered. Please note that you are allowed to upload up to 2 files for the concept description, and if you choose to include any visuals, please remember that this is not compensated, so you should not provide any more than the minimum of what you can use to get your idea across. We're not looking for, a complete rendering of what you are proposing. We also ask that you include 3 previous work examples. It helps if these are similar in medium to the work that you are proposing. And we also ask for your artist resume, and there are optional identification questions. So after you submit all of this information to us, our selection panel members will refer to this criteria when scoring applications. We look at eligibility as well as detail and completion as a pass-fail category. We don't ask panelists to review incomplete applications. We're looking at aesthetic considerations. The top score for this is artwork that would be exceptionally aesthetically pleasing and appropriate for all ages. We're looking at the quality of the proposed concept. The top score for this is a concept that includes a vision for the future of transportation that is unique, draws a strong connection to the Boise Depot, and will inspire curiosity. And for a little bit of context, curiosity in this case can mean a concept that will not just show viewers the answers to those questions, but might prompt further thought or interest or other questions, perhaps something that leaves you thinking. We're also looking at the quality of the proposed experience. The top score is a proposed medium, variation, and community engagement approach that will ensure a high quality, unique, and meaningful experience. We're not simply looking for someone who can execute a high quality display, but is thinking of something that is unique and meaningful. And meaningful in this case can mean a lot of different things, but a few examples are community engagement approaches that allow community members to really shape the final artwork design that encourages repeat viewing or allows for interaction or creates a group experience, or again, inspires that curiosity that goes along with you after you leave the event. And our final category is ability to follow through. The top score is that the artist has provided ample evidence of their ability to follow through. And a few suggestions for applicants. First, a reminder, if you have any questions, please be sure to put those in the Q&A function. Questions will come right after this. And we have a few basic suggestions for anyone interested in applying. So please review the application materials and criteria very carefully. All of that is included in the call, and you'll encounter it on Submittable as well. Please be sure to answer all of the questions that are asked and be as clear and concise as possible. Please remember that you are communicating with strangers who are not familiar with you or your work. Please connect written descriptors to your medium, visual style, and past work examples. A pretty common challenge for panelists is not understanding how someone's concept will be communicated visually. This doesn't mean that you need to provide a completed rendering, but please be aware that you are responsible for connecting the dots between your concept and your visual style. You don't want to leave panelists guessing. For example, you wouldn't want to propose a painted concept and only show past work examples of sculptures without providing any additional context, connecting those dots for your audience, the selection panel. Please remember that application pools are very competitive. So remember to think about what you can contribute that is unique, meaningful, or can inspire curiosity. So beyond just communicating what you would like to show, think about why it's important to you and why it should be shared, and be sure to communicate that to the selection panel. And finally, if projection is a new medium for you, please be clear about how you can leverage existing skills to be successful in this project. All right, and there is my contact information. And if there are any questions, now is the time to put them in the Q&A. Do we have a view of the back? If you're familiar with the Boise Depot, there's along the back side, there are a couple of wall segments along the meeting area, the doors that lead into the main space, and then a final section on the far left. And we're looking at utilizing one of those segments. So it won't be across the entire backside of the depot. It's only one section, although that section is still pretty large. The selected artist, as well as anyone who views this recording, will then have access to seeing those dimensions and that space. All right, thank you all for being here. Have a good rest of your afternoon.